What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The Monday Night Raw season premiere, 9/9/2024. The return of Bret Hart. The best there is, was, and always will be, but Gunther had a problem with that. There was no CM Punk, but Wade Barrett stepped up huge in the Drew McIntyre promo segment. The return of Natty Neidhart and her legends, the Booyakas. We'll talk all about it. Bianca Belair. Is she perhaps too good? I'll explain in this review. Lot to go over. And a question. If a street fight isn't actually in the street, is it just a no DQ match? We'll talk all about it. It's the Monday Night Raw 9/9/24 review, amplified style. I, of course, will be your host, B Motherfucking C, the amplified man. Before we kick this review off, I do have the number for SmackDown. It's the final SmackDown ever on Fox. And a concerning number the last 2 weeks, just over 2 million, 2.05s the last 2 weeks. That is concerningly, alarmingly low, obviously. No Roman Reigns is helping to contribute to that low number, but just not enough heels, not enough interest, not enough storytelling going on the Blue brand. A 2.05. And then Friday you had the Green Bay Packer versus Philadelphia Eagle season opener. Now that was Peacock streaming though. That was not on cable. So yeah, it's going to make a dent, but you cannot use that game as a sole excuse. You still have to put your best foot forward, put your best product forward, your best show. WWE did not do that Friday. We all know that. And their rating came in at a 1.7 semod. I believe their total after the adjustments was approximately 1.76, 1.77 maybe. But a 1.7 semod, wherever that final adjustment will end up, it is not expected to go into the 1/8. So the final show ever for the Blue brand on the Fox broadcast channel is going to be a 1.7. I did not think I would see that. I don't care what the competition is. I did not think I would see a 1.7 for WWE television on Fox ever. And they've been, again, for anybody that's using just the football game as an excuse, you got to remember the last 2 weeks, a 2.05. They were already heading towards under 2 million. The football game was just the final punch in the jaw. That was just the final nail in that coffin. You guys got to remember this has been a trajectory over the last several weeks. The product, the Blue brand, is lacking in so many areas that the football game was just the last thing they wanted to see. A 1.7 for SmackDown. This is what the USA Network is inheriting. This is why Fox did not want to carry on. They saw this happening slowly but surely. So now the USA Network is they're going to hope for the best, right? Because now they have this Blue brand. Because after this year is over, the red brand is booted over to Netflix. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, before we get to the review, massive news, massive, long overdue. Starting October 7th for the rest of the year, January, Netflix is going to want that third hour back because especially streaming, it's all about hours viewed, right? That's how streaming works. They want to keep you there hours at a time. But starting October 7th for the rest of the year on the USA Network, Monday Night Raw is switching it up to 2 hours. They're giving that third hour Das Boot. Finally, the third hour is gone starting October 7th. What this means is a better product. We are hoping anyway. And it sucks to say that, right? As someone who loves, and I know you guys love pro wrestling, as does BC, you would think that more is better, right? We love pro wrestling. A third hour of Monday night gives us something to do and really enjoy and be captivated by. But what happens if quality is suffering because of the quantity? Sometimes you have to look at that question and say, is the quality being subdued because of the quantity? In this case, the quality is being subdued. You have to take that third hour away to get a better product. 100% of a lemon is not as good as 50% of a watermelon. So cut it down. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is better. This is one of those situations where Hunter Hearst Helmsley himself said that third hour is the biggest struggle he comes across. Now there's no excuses. Starting October 7th, according to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, you're going to get the best of his product. That's what we're hoping for. A better Monday Night Raw. Because 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, whether it's Vincent Kennedy or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, it is a chore to get through. And I mean a chore. It is exhausting. Every now and again going, that was good at least. That's how I watch Raw. Because I try to be positive. I go, hey, we got something good. Right? Like the top of the second hour last night, I finally went, hey, this is okay. We shouldn't have to watch a 3-hour show trying to pick the good parts out. Most of it should be good. Every now and again, we should be saying, that wasn't so good, but that's all right. This show's been really good anyway. No, it's the reverse. Every now and again, we go, hey, that was good. Right? And then because fans love this and they really want the shows to be good, then they'll go afterwards and go, the show is so good. Did you see those 2 segments? The 2 out of the 14? Yeah, I saw them. Can't do it. The third hour is a backbreaker. It's got to go. It had to go years ago. And for those hoping that it sticks around, it's not going to. Again, streaming services, they run on hours, on content viewed. They want that third hour. If it was up to Netflix, they would take 100 hours because they want that. Every week, they're going to get 3 hours of new television. That was their biggest turn on. That's why they threw $5 billion. That is huge for the business model of Netflix. So that third hour is coming back. But starting October 7th and for the rest of the year, man, those 3 months. Man, chopping that third hour. Now, I truly believe if there's any time to get the best Monday Night Raw that we've had in years, starting October 7th is the time to do it. So at least we're going to get a huge Survivor Series build I'm hoping for, at least from the red brand. And the blue brand has to pick it up no matter what. They have to. I don't care if you put that to 1 hour. I don't care. They need a drastic, complete haul over. Flip that upside down. Start from scratch. Do what you got to do on the blue brand. The red brand, you start by chopping that third hour. Hunter said it himself. BC and all of you guys knew for years that third hour had to go. As much as we love this and you would think more is better, it's not in this scenario. Third hour is getting Das Boot October 7th. That is massive news. I could not be more excited for that. We're finally going to be able to focus on what needs to be addressed on these shows, hopefully. And not have to book a third meaningless hour, because when you do that, all 3 hours unfortunately become meaningless. Was there enough good on this show to say, hey, it was worth our 3 hours? It was a season premiere, the return of Bret. You had Natalya, the Booyakas, Wade Barrett, and Drew McIntyre face off. A huge match for Bad Blood. But then you had all of your questionable booking. Oh, we got to talk Damage Control and what they were up to last night. You know we have to talk about Mysterio and Dragon Lee and their finish. Pure Fusion, the finish to that matchup, a triple tap out. Almost. I think Sonya held off. But we'll talk about it. There's a lot to go over, man. We'll dissect what was really good, if anything was really good. We'll dissect what was really bad. There was a lot of that. And we will dissect if a street fight is really a street fight if it's not in the street. Are we getting carried away with calling it that? There's a lot to go over. BC's going to get a swig of coffee. You guys are going to the opening signature. Smash that up. Help BC know you're fully amplified. Thank you. Help BC with that algorithm. Smash the up. Come right on back. There's a lot to go over. It's Monday Night Raw's season premiere, 9/9/24. The season premiere, Monday Night Raw, 9/9/24. This show starts off like every single WWE show starts off these days. where a couple 2-3, maybe it's 35, maybe it's the entire roster is showing up to the arena, right? They've got their luggage. They're dragging ass. It looks like they just rolled out of bed at the local hotel. Somebody chucked a coffee at them, booted them in the ass, and said you had to get to the arena. So these wrestlers are showing up. It's clear they're looking for catering. They don't want to miss the last piece of triple layered mousse cake. So all the wrestlers are showing up to the arena. I get it. They want to build that suspense, right? That all the wrestlers are there at the arena, so now anything can happen. They're there. But don't be afraid to shake it up once in a while, man. Spice it up. Like Saturday Night's Main Event long ago. Saturday Night's Main Event, they did this thing where the music would keep playing after the whole signature played, the opening intro. The music would be playing and these short promos would be cut by all of the participants in the matches that night, or at least the main matchups. So if you were getting Boss Man versus Hogan, for instance, they would cut short promos, like 10, 15 seconds maybe. And it would get you hyped up. A match you didn't think you wanted to see, didn't need to see. Now all of a sudden, you can't wait to see. They would do that in those short little promos, man, with the music playing. There was something about them. It got you hyped up. Collision. AEW adapted that same type of intro to their Collision shows when Collision started. I don't know if they still do that. But AEW Collision had the music playing, these short little promos from matches that were going to be presented later in the night. Again, I don't know if Collision still does it. I have not caught a Collision since roughly 1935. Slight exaggeration. But I have not caught a Collision, but I really loved how they took that from Saturday Night's Main Event. Same thing here. You have to spice it up, man. When this company gets something they really like, they will run it into the ground. We saw it with Vincent Kennedy McMahon for years. You're already seeing it with Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Doesn't matter if it's the aerial spear shot for Braun Breaker. They loved it so much the first time, they did it every week after. Or that long steady cam shot from in the hallway into Gorilla, through the curtain. Now they use it for Jey Uso more than anybody. But that one, they would do it every single week with somebody new. Sami Zayn or Jey Uso. Maybe it was the New Day. Recently, again, it's kind of become Jey Uso's entrance. But they get something and that's it, man. They like all the wrestlers showing up to the arena. So they do it every single show. It's cool. It can build suspense if you don't overdo it. You have to add more. You can't just think of one thing and go, we're good for the year. That's how you start the show. And then do these little camera tricks over here. And dude, we have a presentation that's second to none. But it's gonna take more, man. It's not captivating. Just watching Jade Cargill slowly roll her luggage into the arena, or watching The Miz with his 5-piece suit, looking at everybody. You know, he's like, hey, another show 8,552. Well, that's not fun, because that's how it feels watching The Miz going to the arena, like we've seen it 8,552 times. It's not refreshing, it's not entertaining, it's not fun, it doesn't build suspense. Wow, I can't wait to see what Miz does tonight. SmackDown, you got Cody Rhodes, he's got his coffee, and he's smiling, and he's waving, winking maybe, right? Let's get creative, guys. Let's get creative. That needed a couple minutes to be spent on because we have to get creative. Don't just take one idea and run it into the ground. You have an audience. It's a television show for what is now still 3 hours. Everybody slowly, or switch it up once in a while, right? Miz is just fucking rolling his luggage in. He's got a smile. He's got his 5P. And all of a sudden, wham! A monster truck runs him over. What in the hell? It was Bronson. Bronson was trying to get to Braun. Braun was like farther in the parking lot. He was going through a separate entrance. Bronson Reed saw him. Bronson's in a monster truck trying to run over Braun. But unfortunately, Miz got ran over. What the hell? Miz just got ran over by a monster truck. Go to the opening signature and the theme music, and we're all like, whoa, what a start to Raw! It doesn't have to be that extreme, right? I mean, maybe not a monster truck. And I'm not saying he gets ran over to where he gets squashed into a million pieces, but add some fun to it, right? Have somebody get ran over in the parking lot or something, man. A fan throws a rock at someone's dome piece. Something, spice it up. Oh, man. All right, so let's get to it. We start this show off with a street fight. Wyatt's versus American Made. Chad Gable waving that American flag through the arena in Calgary, Alberta, Canada was a sight to see, right? There was one image where Chad Gable went to the one of the turnbuckles holding up that American flag. In the crowd, a couple of individuals had a huge Canadian flag. So you had the American and the Canadian, and it just reminded me of those old school, just Shawn Michaels. It was like DX and the Hart Foundation. The newer Hart Foundation, not just Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hart's tag team. But this is when they had like Owen, British Bulldog. There was a few other people, right? Brian Pillman was a part of that stable for a while. But it reminded me, if you guys don't remember, this is around, I think this was around Attitude Era, I believe. And guys, if you knew the tension between US and Canada for pro wrestling, I mean, the atmosphere was electric. Last night, there were so many times where the crowd was absolutely silent. And I had to go, is that Canada? Like, that's Calgary, Alberta? Now, I understand the shows are not that interesting these days, but Calgary, Alberta, I mean, the crowd used to be fire from top to bottom, start to finish, beginning to end. There was no lull periods. You barely thought anybody was going to the bathroom or going to get popcorn or another beer because everybody was there from the show start to the show end. And it just brought me back to that, man. There was just the way the Hart Foundation and DX and everybody would just have that war. And to see those flags, and I'm like, oh, I miss those days, man. But for this street fight, Uncle would get involved late. Uncle would hit Sister Abigail, and Chad Gable would eat the pin. So the Wyatts would collect the big W. That needed to happen, obviously. It sucks. Chad Gable's new faction is no better than his old faction with Alpha Academy. And you rushed the Alpha Academy and American Made feud because Otis and Chad should have been much more special. The turn when Otis turns on Chad should have been much more meaningful and a bigger moment. The feud should have been standing on its own. But you rushed that so you could get to the Wyatts and American Made for some reason. And I can't tell you that Chad Gable looks any better today than he did several months ago. I would even argue that Chad Gable felt much more special months ago than he does right now. American Made is actually boring. I'm going to give it to you straight up. For BC, and I know I'm not alone on this, they are pretty damn boring. Their booking is subpar at best. You got to pick them up. But there's no way the Wyatts were going to lose this. Now, in terms of the crowd, they were into this match. I think there was at least two "This is awesome" chants. They screamed "This is awesome" about 5 times last night. Nothing on this show, I'm telling you guys right now, and we'll go through it all. Nothing on this show was actually awesome. Like the definition of awesome. And putting it in terms of pro wrestling, I always use the example of like Shawn Michaels Undertaker, that match from 25. Or you can go to like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso, what they did in NXT. Maybe even Sasha Banks, Bayley from NXT. But there's certain situations where you go like, oh, awesome. Guys, it was chanted like 5 times last night. We're going to go through this show. Nothing was awesome. But they paid their money, and they knew what they wanted to do, man. The second they get a chance, they're screaming, "This is awesome." They're getting their money's worth. But no, this was not awesome. This was not a street fight, okay? This was a no DQ match. That's all this was. This was no DQ. Let's not bullshit here. Let's call it what it is. It's a no DQ. I don't know if has Hunter never been in a street fight? I don't know. But in all the street fights that BC's been in growing up, I've never been hit or thrown trash can lids or kendo sticks or went through wooden tables, unless we were like in the bar room. But an actual street fight, no, there wasn't a lot of wooden tables hanging around or any tables. No, there wasn't kendo sticks lying around the streets that we were fighting in. We didn't take trash cans and hit each other with the trash cans and the lids. I don't know why these are labeled street fights. And that might seem like a minor nitpick, but it's not. Just call it no DQ. Because when you call a no DQ match, what do you usually see? Trash cans, the lids, the kendo sticks, and the tables, right? And then they call it a street fight, and what do you usually see? The trash cans, the lids, the kendo sticks, the tables. There's no difference. So just call this no DQ and save the street fight. Because when you actually want to have a street fight, we could do something wild and special. You guys want to hear a wild idea? Check this idea that BC has. What if, just hang with BC for a second here, man. I know, BC's wild, man. I know. But let's reel it in a little bit, right? Let's all be on the same wavelength for just a second. What if you called for a street fight and it was actually in a street? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be entertaining if like the wrestlers are in the street? And it's easily done. You just get a permit from the town and you can literally shut off a side street for an hour and you just film. Production in New York, they do it all day. They can shut down a street for 12 hours. You just get the proper permits. Some police the production will have to pay a little bit more because you'll have to maybe have the police actually like detour people if they don't know where to go. Sometimes it costs a little bit more. But if you're shutting down a side street that's barely used anyway for like 1 hour and you film a match, let's go. What if a street fight was a street fight? No. These days you hear about a street fight and here come the no DQ kendo sticks. Here comes the trash can lids. Eric Rowan's going through a very thin wooden table. Like if you lay on it, how many times have we seen a wrestler lay on it to get ready for the spot, right? Somebody's going to do a splash. So they gently lay down on it and it breaks anyway. I don't know what wrestling fan fascination is with tables. I don't, but they go ballistic. We want tables! And if you grab one, they go ballistic. They would put that up there with their first time. Their first time doing the how you doing. They would put it right up there in terms of moments. I remember my first time. I remember when the Dudleys got the table. I remember when Eric Rowan got sent through his table. Remember when Bronson splashed Miz through the table? Right? That's how they put their life memories is in table spots in pro wrestling. They get off on this stuff. I don't know what the fascination is. It's a thin little piece of wood. You can lay on it and it breaks. What are we screaming about? We want tables. I'd take a ladder before it. How about we want ladders? Give me ladders. That's much more devastating. Somebody puts you through a thin piece of wood or you get hit in the mug with a steel ladder. That's much better. Let's start yelling, we want ladders. We already know they're underneath the ring. We want ladders. Let's go back to thumbtacks. Those are fun. We want thumbtacks. Tables? Let's do away, man. I say in 2025, we do a fresh start. Let's get rid of this is awesome. Let's get rid of we want tables. Let's get rid of you deserve it. All of the chants that we have already outdone, we have overexposed these chants into the ground 10 times over. Let's give them all Das Boot! Das Boot to all the chants. We still have Fight Forever. That's a good one that's been saved, thankfully. I don't know how, but Fight Forever can stick around. So no, this was not a street fight. This was a no DQ, but it was fine. It was, there was a lot of stuff going on. But to be honest with you, Aaron Rodgers was taking his first snaps since a whole year, man. He played like one drive last year, not even a whole drive, got injured. The whole world was trying to see Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers. You know what I mean? So WWE, I don't use that as an excuse in the ratings. That means WWE has to step it up. I can't say that watching these 8 individuals get hit with kendo sticks and trash can lids, I can't say that that's going to compete with Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers. I can't. But that's how they started the show. Again, could it have been worse? Absolutely. Was it okay and good to a lot of fans? Sure, I guess. You guys know I don't like multi-person schmaz matches. And it's the Wyatts. If you're going to call it a street fight and just do stupid kendo sticks and trash can lids, what I would ask is know who's in there, right? It's the Wyatts. So at least bring a couple of individuals, right? Take a couple of the dudes for, like, the Creed brothers. And take, I don't know, take Rowan or Howdy. Howdy wasn't in the match official, so take even Howdy, all right? So you're not literally losing another individual in the arena, so the crowd still has people. But take a few individuals to the back, right? Go to the court. All of a sudden, they find themselves in the boiler room, right? If you don't want to go outside to the street and have an actual street fight in the street, what a concept. Go to the boiler room or something with a few of the individuals. But do something that's a little bit more like Wyatt's, a little bit more darker. You see the boiler room, a little bit more eerie maybe, right? It's the Wyatts. It's a street fight. I don't know, man. So this is why I say sometimes I just, am I too creative for this stuff? I guess. But that shouldn't be the case, guys, because my creativity that I give you guys is actually, it's bare minimum, guys. I'm not even giving you the good stuff that I think about with these individuals and the storylines. I'm giving you just the basic. But that was the first matchup, man. Again, no harm, no foul. I'm not saying it was bad. It could have been and should have been so much more. And because the live crowd is going to chant, "This is awesome," does not mean that BC is going to go, "This street fight was awesome." No, it wasn't. Because it wasn't even a street fight. It's a no DQ match. It's no different than seeing Meechin and Nia Jax last Friday hit each other with kendo sticks and trash can lids. That's all this was. You just took out Meechin and Nia and you put in a bunch of dudes and a Nikki Cross and an Ivy Nile. Let's go into the second matchup. Oh, actually, this was a face-to-face promo next. This was Finn Balor, Damian Priest. So Finn Balor, Damian Priest are facing off in a promo battle. Balor says, I can speak. Balor says, and I quote, he's nobody's side chick. Okay, he said sidekick, but listen, if the show's not going to entertain me, I got to entertain myself in the notes. So I put, he's nobody's side chick. But he tells Damian that he's nobody's sidekick. I was never your sidekick, and I'm not now. And to prove that, he challenges Priest to a one-on-one match at Bad Blood. Priest accepts the challenge. The Judgment Day then attacks Priest. This was weird. Because as Priest says, I accept, now I'm going to do what I came here to do. And Balor stops him and goes, no, you forgot the Judgment Day playbook. And Priest goes, you forgot. I wrote the playbook. And then they just stared at each other. And then Carlito and JD McDonald's, maybe he was loading up on the French fries. I don't know, but it took them forever to get to the ring. So Priest is like, I wrote the playbook. So Balor says, you hold on, before you attack me, you should have remembered, the Judgment Day playbook. In other words, Judgment Day is about to attack. And then Priest is like, well, I wrote it, so I was already ready for it. And then we waited 10 seconds, or that's what it felt like. After they say that, they stare at each other for another few seconds, and then in the background, you see Carlito finally wobbling his way to go over the barricade. Man, if you're about to rob a bank and that's your getaway car, you might want to find a new getaway crew, because they will leave you hanging. That was horrible. If Priest wanted Balor and started wailing off, it would have took them forever. Eventually, they get in the ring. Damian tries to fend him off, but the numbers game prevails. This is my brutality! Rhea Ripley hits the ring, or kind of waddles herself with one leg. Liv Morgan would come to the ring and ruin the save. Liv would take out Rhea. And then Jey Uso would hit the ring. Jey Uso would finally be the one to have Judgment Day. The heels would retreat because of Jey Uso. So they're going to keep this little Rhea Ripley, Jey Uso thing going, even though that was the request of Papa Uso, Rikishi. His one request, besides Hunter should book him better and put a title on him, that was Rikishi's request. Rikishi said they better not put him in the storyline with Rhea Ripley. And it's almost like Hunter's like, oh yeah? Now he's in the storyline with Rhea Ripley. So Jey Uso hits the ring. Heels run off. Balor Priest is made for Bad Blood, and Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley is official. That title match, that rematch for the title is Bad Blood. So a couple more matches for Bad Blood, kind of through all of that turmoil. And then we end hour number 1 with a women's tag title match. Oh, Maron. Let me get a swig of coffee. We'll talk about this tag title match. So this was Jade and Bianca, your current champions, once again champions, right? They took the titles off them just because it was Scotland, and they plucked Alba and Isla from catering. Then Alba and Isla, for some reason, kept them for 2 months, even though Hunter never had a plan. So then Hunter was just like, what if we just give them back to Bianca and Jade? And that's what happened. So they just played hot potato the last 4 months. And last night, Jade and Bianca defeat Alba and Isla yet again. Jade pins Alba Fire, and the champions retain their titles. The one thing I will note here, the one thing that I did have in my notes is Belair is too damn good. This is what I wrote in last night's notes. While I'm watching, when this match came to a conclusion, Belair is I think I wrote that during the match, because it's almost like one of these individuals, in much respect to the talent of Kylie Ray or Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and Jade is improving, I do feel, slowly but surely. But watching Bianca, it's like one of these individuals doesn't belong here, right? She's too good. It's like you took somebody who's been a seasoned veteran and you put them with a bunch of rookies almost. And I know that's not disrespect to Alba and Isla, but that's how good Bianca is. And it's almost... She literally has to dumb down everything she does. She has to slow it down and dumb it down because, like, nobody can keep up, not even her tag team partner, Jade. When they try to do the double teams, and she's trying to, come on. Bianca is just ready. She's got the confidence, man. That's the first thing. Every wrestler has to have 110% confidence or don't go to the ring. You're only going to make yourself a liability and those you're in the ring with a liability. And you have to be a reliability in life, especially in something like pro wrestling, 110% fold. And Bianca has confidence like no other at this point. I don't know many individuals in the pro wrestling game that is screwing with the confidence that Bianca is screwing with. And last night, it's like she's holding the hands of everybody. Like they're all like the very younger sister of Bianca, you know, and she's got to hold their hands everywhere, right? It's like taking Aaron Rodgers and putting him in a high school football game as the quarterback. Chances are, as long as the wide receivers don't have butterfingers, chances are Aaron's team is going to win that game 155 to probably 12. It's 4 field goals and then 155 points by Aaron Rodgers' high school team. That's what you're doing. You're putting Bianca in there, and nobody can hang with her in this match. Jade, man, she's getting better slowly but surely, but the confidence is just not there, and you can tell. She has to get that confidence. If she doesn't get that, it doesn't matter what she learns move-wise, time-wise, doesn't matter. The mannerisms, the expressions, how to look at the hard cam here and there, it doesn't matter. If the confidence isn't there, nobody's going to believe in what she's doing because she's not going to believe in what she's doing. And I've always been and still am a big supporter of Jade Cargill. She's got the presence, the look. That is a bona fide champion before she even steps in the ring. But damn, putting her with Bianca was supposed to help, right? Bianca, show her the ropes. All right, that's why they're together. Right, hold the hand of Jade and really bring her up to the prominence, right? They have Natalya do that all the time to the incoming females that need a helping hand, they think. But now I'm starting to see that Bianca is actually not helping Jade because you're starting to see the difference. And Alba and Isla just couldn't hang. Bianca was just on one last night. She usually is, but last night, watch the match, guys. I know not everybody is a good critic at things, right? Pro wrestling, it really takes a keen eye. You really have to know what you're talking about to critique pro wrestling. I know these days everybody thinks they're the best critic at everything, right? Rating food, movies, going to the movies and thinking you're a critic of movies or pro wrestling, sports. But it's just not that simple. You know, there's so much that goes into critiquing any type of platform or genre or industry. And pro wrestling is no different, but everybody thinks they're a good critic. But if you have any semi-knowledge of pro wrestling, not just a fan that enjoys watching it, but if you have knowledge of this industry and you watch that match and you watch it with a little extra keen eye because of what BC said in this review, you'll see exactly what I mean. Bianca is just slowing everything down. She's just on it. And it's not like she's on it and screwing up and botching. Right, because she's too on it. She's too amplified. Slow it down. You're going to ruin it for everybody else. No, she's on it and firing on all cylinders, man. That's the thing. She's ready. She's like, let's go. And I'm not saying everything has to be fast paced, right? I love when we slow it down, sell everything to perfection, right? But these are moments where you don't even have to sell. It's just literally setting things up or getting the double team situated. Things like that, where Jade's like over at the turnbuckle and Bianca's middle of the ring, like, what do you get over here? Or the double clothesline when it was at Isla. I think Isla was going over the top of the double clothesline. And Jade's like, oh, I screwed up. I'm sorry. And Bianca's like, let's go. Just get back on it. Like, don't worry about telling me you screwed up. Or was that supposed to be you? Get in here. We're live. Let's do the double clothesline. I'm already past that botch. Anyway, and I love this stuff, man. See, this is why I have a review channel. Because, no pat on the back. I'm very good at what I do. And I love talking about this stuff because this is the stuff that'll make these individuals better, right? And that's the whole purpose of the channel. Make pro wrestling great again. So we all are not just enjoying it, but being captivated by it. And these are the performances where if you tweak this, get rid of that, and add this, you're off to the races. And Jade Cargill will be 86% better than she was on Monday. Alba and Isla are good. They just were in there with a beast. Bianca is just too damn good. And that, again, brings us back to what was in my notes for this match. Bianca is too damn good. A whole nother level. That's all I had in my notes. The tag match was what it was. Nobody's going to remember it. It was a rematch of a rematch. And afterwards, Damage Control confronts Jade and Bianca backstage. And they said, we want the title match. There was tension. They're pushing the belts with their fingers. And this goes back to what I've been preaching for the last few weeks. What did you do to Damage Control, Hunter Hearst Helmsley? With no plan, this is what you're going to get. This is what you're always going to get when you don't have a plan. They literally had Damage Control. Io and Kari had to turn face. And we don't even know where they turned. We know when, but we don't know how this turns them face. But Sonya's group shows up, beats them up, so all of a sudden they turn face. Bayley turned face from the group because they turned on Bayley, right? So then they had no plan after Bayley turned. We saw that for several months. And then they just said, what if we just turn all of Damage Control? Well, how do we do that, Hunter? Well, let's just have Sonya's group beat them up. But Hunter, they're a heel team too. Who cares? We'll make them more dominant heels, and then the fans will feel sorry for Damage Control. And that's what they did, guys. That's the plan that they had. And to this day, it has not worked. Fans didn't buy into that. After what they did to Bayley and all the faces on the roster, and then all of a sudden, heels out-heel them. And now we're supposed to feel sorry for them? So now they're running around as faces somehow, and they're in a story with other faces. So they're being out-heeled by a heel group. They turn face because of it. And now you just put them in a feud or a story or the beginning of a story with two of the bigger faces, Jade and Bianca. So it's heel-heel. They get out-heeled. Now it's face-face. What do? Do they get out-faced? And then they have to quietly, absurdly turn heel again? If you guys are following along, you know how ridiculous this is and why Damage Control gets crickets when they're out in that arena, any arena. And that's sad because Io is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Kari is an absolute sweetheart and damn good. One of the best flying elbows you're going to see would make Macho Man Randy Savage so damn proud. Yeah. One of the best elbows you'll ever see. CM Punk would only hope to do half of a Kari Sane flying elbow. But they get crickets. Nobody cares. Hunter doesn't know what they're doing. And we see this, right? When they don't know, when a character is not connecting, they'll just turn him face heel 1,000 times. We saw it with Big Show. We saw it with Kane. We've seen it with Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax. I can't tell you how many each of those individuals have turned face and heel. Probably a dozen times easily a piece. Damage Control, we don't know what they are. You turn them face absurdly to go against the face tag team of Jade and Bianca. Then why not just keep them heel? I'll tell you why. Because Hunter doesn't have a plan. It's something new. Every single show, he just comes up with some ludicrous, dumbass idea. And it never makes sense. And a week or months later, you're going to still hear the same crickets that you heard when they were in the ring 2 months previous. That's the sad damn truth. BC's just giving you blunt, honest, amplified truth. That's the facts of why Damage Control isn't clicking. Because booking doesn't know what they're doing. Moving on. That was the end of hour 1. So again, hour 1 recap. You had the street fight. It's a no DQ match. Balor and Damian face off to set up Liv and Rhea for Bad Blood, and Damian versus Balor one-on-one at Bad Blood. And then hour number 1 ends with Jade and Bianca retaining their titles over Alba and Isla. Hour number 2. Bret the Hitman Hart returns to WWE. It's been like 2 years, right? I think we last saw him in 2022. Something like that, so. Always good to see Bret Hart. He starts hour 2. So good to see and hear the dude. It really is, man. It just brings me back to... He's so underrated, his mic skills, because he was never known for his mic skills, right? It was always his technical prowess, how good he was, right? He came from Stu's dungeon. But when he was, especially through that Attitude Era, when he was on that microphone, man, he was so damn believable that he leveled up the feud with Shawn Michaels and DX or Steve Austin, whoever he was in a feud with, Vince McMahon. Bret on the microphone is what helped launch a lot of those feuds. A lot of people don't realize that, but if you go back and study those feud storylines and promos, Bret Hart was above and beyond believable. Realism was put into those feuds because of Bret Hart's promos. That's facts. And just hearing Bret, even though he's so much older now, like every one of them, he's still got that voice, and it's like, man, if we had Bret in his prime, could you imagine Bret and Gunther, bro? For the championship. Just Bret Hart over there with AJ Styles, Bret in his prime. And nobody even knows where AJ Styles is. He's supposed to be back, but he's not back over on SmackDown. But Bret Hart, man, so good to see and hear the dude. Gunther comes to the ring. He says, Bret, you'll always be my second favorite. My first favorite is Bill Goldberg. Guys, this got a massive moan from the crowd. BC was in awe, man. Jaw dropped. I was like, they did not just say that. For those that don't know, Bill Goldberg is one of the reasons Bret Hart's career got cut short. Accidental, but it was absolutely careless, reckless, negligent, kick to the dome piece. And I guess the way Bret says it is Goldberg said before the kick, like, watch out for the kick. And Bret was thinking, like, why would you tell me to watch out? How about you watch out for the kick? You're the one kicking me. He says, watch out for the kick. Bret just hits the ropes, goes to take it, even puts his hand up a little, and Goldberg just laid in, never pulled it. And Goldberg just nailed him. And it wasn't one of those like soft boots or the wrestling boots they have today, or the shoes even. These were like it was a hard boot, and it nailed Bret, an instant concussion, and he never was the same, ended up having the stroke afterwards, and he never could wrestle. So I think he tried to come back after that, but that kick just sent everything off the tracks, and it never got put back. So to this day, Bret Hart is very, very, there's frustration, there's just this animosity, and he tries to shed it, but it's just, it weighs on him, man. And he's really pissed. So for WWE to put that in the promo, man, Gunther said, my first favorite, Bill Goldberg. And of course, that's the dude that many kind of equate to the person that ended Bret's career. That was a wild line from Gunther, and that's what I mean. That's what Gunther should be doing. Calling Damian street trash. Telling Randy Orton that you're a failure, your father's a failure, and your grandfather's a failure. In fact, Randy, you're the biggest failure of them all. Looking at Bret Hart and saying, my favorite, Bill Goldberg, the dude that ended your career. That's Gunther. You should want to hate that dude because he's so damn good. Not shaking Randy Orton's hand, man. Making Randy look like an idiot because you're the one who called his family dumbasses and failures, and he shakes your hand. Gunther talks all this trash and he just shakes Randy's hand. No, stop that. Go in there, look at Bret and say, you're all right. My favorite personally, Bill Goldberg. That was wild, man. Out comes Sami Zayn. Let's go. Sami Zayn to the ring defends Bret's honor while once again pleading his case for a world title match. Gunther responds by saying, and I quote, Bret is not in my league, and you, Sami, are not in Bret's league. So what does that tell you? My answer is still no. Gunther leaves the ring. Bret on the microphone says, you're just nothing but a yellow coward. That's right, a yellow no-good coward. Gunther goes to come back to the ring for Bret, but Sami jumps out of the ring, gets right in front of Gunther, says, you got a problem with me, step up to me first. Gunther says, no, you're not a part of this. Sami says, yes, I am. Boom! The little battle is on. They start throwing bows. I think Sami gets the best of Gunther. Gunther retreats, and the faces celebrate in front of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Good to see Bret Hart. I love the interaction with Gunther and Bret, and eventually we are going to get Sami and Gunther. I'm more than okay with that. Sami Zayn is the guy who beat Gunther. Sami Zayn, you would believe, would get a world title match. Especially the way they're going about it, right? They're not just announcing it. Or they're not just out of the whim, just going, 1 week, we're just going to say, Sami, you go out there, say some words to Gunther, and then we'll make a match. They're going to drag it out and make it, here's a crazy idea, a story. Right? Drag it out, man. Get fans into it. So when the moment comes where he finally says, yes, I accept, it's a little bit bigger of a moment, and we actually have some anticipation. What a concept. So hour number 2, as of this point, that was the best part of the show. Again, hour 1 was what it was. Hour 2, the start of it, finally I got something that was actually entertaining. Then we went into a Dominic Mysterio defeating Dragon Lee via 619 Frog Splash combo pinfall. Mega assist to Liv Morgan for clipping the leg of Lee before the 619. The referee was distracted. Liv Morgan in the ring clips the leg like she did to Rhea earlier. And that helps Dominic Mysterio over Dragon Lee. And then it's time for the return of one of the biggest superstars of all time. All right, not quite, but we like her, right? She's. I mean, it's because the company never has a real plan for her. The crowd is kind of like, all right. Even Calgary last night was like, hey, yeah, it's her. Natalya, right? Natalya returned last night. It was Pure Fusion Collective. I can't believe, I always said I'm not even going to say that. But I guess it's easier than saying Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe. Pure Fusion Collective versus Valkyria, Zelina Vega, and Natty. My notes here. PFC's theme, Pure Fusion Collective's theme, is beyond forgettable and incredibly generic. I put that in my notes to remember, to talk about. That's got to change. Because that's a problem with so many themes, and now they have their theme, and it's like, no, we can't keep doing this, guys. We can't. If you want me to invest in Pure Fusion Collective, at least get me into the theme music, right? That's half the battle. You want to be like, yeah, or boo, right when the music hits, before they even step through the curtain. You want to have an emotion, a feeling, right? The music does that. The music. When Steve Austin's glass shatters, you feel something. When Hulkamania's music would hit, tan, 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 when it comes crushing down and it hurts inside. If you smell, the Undertaker's gong. Or H in Motorhead, Kurt Angle, you suck. The theme music, Roman Reigns, man. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever, man. Roman Reigns is actually kick-ass. But theme music, it's gotta like grab ya. Pure Fusion Collective, I could go out, pick up some sticks and some rocks and start banging on posts and it would be better than that music-wise. Yes, I get amplified on that. I've had a lot of coffee. What can I say, man? Pure Fusion Collective is just the straw that broke the camel's back. Enough with the generic music. Stop! Incredibly generic, beyond forgettable. I put that in my notes. Other part of this six-woman matchup in my notes, Natty's Booyaka Booyakas somehow got bigger. I don't know how that's even possible. But her Booyakas became even bigger Booyakas. Huge. Absolutely huge. Zelina in my notes, right? They said that this was Zelina's first ever six-woman tag. All the time she's been on the roster, this is her first ever six-woman tag. That's wild, man. There was a triple sharpshooter tap out to end this match. Zoe and Shayna. Zoe and Shayna, there you go. They tap out. Sonya was about to, but I don't think she did. So they kind of protected Sonya there. I do at least like that. But they all pretty much tap out. Sonya was about to. So it was a triple sharpshooter finish. I don't know how the referee allowed everybody to be in the ring, but you're not supposed to question that, man. I don't understand the booking of this, by the way, because PFC's whole motto is shoot your shot. And they literally did. I mean, they beat you with 3 sharpshooters. So I don't shoot your shot, and they literally like 3 sharpshooters. It's like Mello, right? Mello don't miss, and then they brought him to the roster, and he lost more than he won, so Mello actually did nothing but miss. Shoot your shot, they do, they land it. I don't... Like this is the part of the booking you can't do, right? If part of their character is this, or they say this, you got to make sure that it's not totally just destroyed in the booking of their matchups. You have to put and this is for the characters, right? Sonya, for instance, would have to go to Hunter and say, hey, man, I don't want to make anything more difficult. I know you got a lot on your plate, but this is what the producer of the match, whoever it is, Jason Jordan or whoever, right? Maybe Jamie Noble. Remember Jamie Noble? Whatever producer. It's up to the character to ask them and then go to Hunter if they can't see eye to eye. To say, hey, listen, we talked about the match. This doesn't make sense, though, because our whole thing is this, and this is going to really make me look like an idiot if I say this, and then this happens in the match, and then maybe Hunter will work with you. But the way that Hunter's booking it now and letting his producers of the matchups book it, it's making... If you use any semblance of logic and common sense for pro wrestling, which is how BC views any product that I watch, any semblance of logic and common sense, you would see that this doesn't add up. Shoot your shot, and they talk a big game, and literally all 3 of them they're about to tap. 2 of them did tap out. The third one in 4 more seconds was going to. Weird booking, man. Already, Pure Fusion is just tapping out like furiously. All right, well, there goes that. I'm glad they out-healed Damage Control to begin the top heel group, and they're already losing like that in the middle of a Monday Night Raw. Just because Natty and her Booyakas came back. Which, by the way, very happy to see. And then you go over to hour number 3. Drew McIntyre is out for a promo, directs his promo to Wade Barrett. He's not happy with Wade getting between he and Punk last week when McIntyre completely destroyed CM Punk. Wade Barrett was trying to back him off. So he says, and I quote to Wade, he's not angry but disappointed in Wade. But he says, if you do it again, I won't be disappointed, just angry. So that's like a little warning to Wade Barrett, just stay out of that biz. Adam Pearce would come to the ring. He says he spoke to CM Punk and he wants McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell. You got to do that with a Vincent Kennedy, man. Hell in a Cell. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. That will make Bad Blood worth it on paper. So not that the other matches are bad. I think it's starting to come around a lot better than Bash in Berlin for sure. But that Hell in a Cell match, and I know that's because Punk and Drew is one of the best feuds of the year, literally. Not many are topping that. AEW's Hangman and Swerve is right there with it. But I don't know many other feuds that is really topping that. So you put him inside Hell in a Cell. I mean, you kind of got to watch the event just for that one match. Adam Pearce says he spoke to Punk, makes the Hell in a Cell match. Drew says some words. I forgot how it actually ended. I don't know, but I like the way that Wade Barrett and CM Punk had that interaction, man. I really enjoyed that. I would love to see. I don't know if Wade can take bumps or not. I don't know Wade's situation, like why he stopped wrestling. Is it a medical reason? But if he can take some bumps, I would love to see Drew take out Wade Barrett. If like Punk can't catch a show or Punk has a week off, something like that, you could have Drew just annihilate Wade. And I know Joe Tessitore is new, so you need Wade there with him, but maybe you do it at like inside the third hour, right? So Joe is just by himself for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. But I love that interaction, right? Something new. Very good. You know, it was interesting. I forgot to mention this. When Gunther was cutting a promo on Bret, he mentioned Wade. I forgot why. But he actually called him Stu. You know, that's his actual, not his character name. So I think his name is, Stu Bennett? Not Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett. So he goes, you know, you were all of our childhood idols, you know, me, Stu, something like that. So I thought that was interesting. I'm like, ooh, I don't think Gunther's supposed to call him Stu. Wade Barrett. Anyway, so it's simplistic start to the third hour, but I like it because I'm really into the CM Punk Drew McIntyre stuff. So Adam Pearce is great too. He oversells everything. I love Chelsea Green and Adam Pearce's interactions, man. Chelsea Green is gold anyway. Chelsea's going to be taking on, not Roxy, Julia tonight. Again, I feel bad for that, man. They're taking on the whole presidential debate. Whoo! And I never use excuses, but they gonna get walloped, man. They're trying though. They're putting together that matchup. They got to generate that buzz for the CW. But oof, Julia and Chelsea Green, man. Chelsea is fantastic. So Drew McIntyre, they set up the Hell in a Cell match. That starts hour 3. Then we go into Rey Mysterio defeating Finn Balor via DQ. Balor refused to break a submission hold. He had Rey locked up on the rope submission-wise, would not break the count. So the referee disqualifies Finn Balor. Mysterio wins. Post-match, Balor just continues to batter Mysterio. Some like missile drop kicks. Drop kick into the post or into the post off the apron. Then as he was being ushered by officials to the back, Balor stops, looks back at Rey, and delivers another drop kick to Rey into the apron. So Finn Balor trying to send a message over to Damian Priest. And then we go into the main event. This was the IC title #1 contenders fatal 4-way. Dragunov, Jey Uso, Pete Dunne, and Braun Strowman. Jey Uso pins Pete Dunne, and the show goes off the air with 3 minutes of yeeting. No cliffhanger, just yeeting. Yeet, 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 yeet for 3 minutes. And that's how we end the show. That is what is supposed to get you excited. BC, it's Monday Night Football. There's nothing they can do in the ratings. How about you put together your best cliffhanger, right? Give people a reason to come back the next week. Jey Uso yeeting for 3 minutes is not going to make most of your audience go, I have to tune into Raw next week. I don't care about the football game. Did you see Jey Uso yeeting? Dude, he's on top of his game right now. He was yeeting for 3 minutes. I got to tune in next week so we can yeet some more. 3 minutes of yeeting. That was it. We just celebrated by yeeting. Where's the creativity? Where's that cliffhanger, man? Where's the whoa? What a finish! Everybody's excited to talk about it after the show goes off the air. BC cutting this review the next morning. We're like, did you see this? Talking about all the cool things that it leads to. No, we yeeted for 3 minutes, and we're talking about a Jey versus Braun IC title match, which Jey can't win. Braun just got that title. Are you taking the title off of Braun already? Sure, I wouldn't put it past Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I mean, he did it to Jade and Bianca just because they were in Scotland. We've seen a lot of flip-flopping with championships. So maybe we shouldn't be too shocked. But no, absolutely not. Jey Uso would have to be defeated because Braun just got it. You're building Braun to be the beast. So all of this little mini tournament just to get to the damn match that we already knew was going to happen. Jey and Braun Breaker. So have some fun with it. We yeeted for 3 minutes. Stop. Braun Strowman in this match got taken out by Bronson Reed, by the way. Bronson jumped up on the apron, leaped off of it, and sent him and Braun through the commentary table. So it was a pretty good spot. Holy shit chants from the crowd, so USA had to kind of beep them out. Bronson looked like he screwed himself. He was holding his own ribs. Like, I think maybe he was supposed to deliver another one, but he was like, I'm done. Bronson was like, I took myself out there. Dragunov loses again. Dragunov loses all the time, though, so that's nothing new. And Petey Dunne actually took the pinfall. So, and that's how Jay Uso, I think Dragunov delivered the H-bomb, but then he got super kicked, and then Jay just delivers the frog splash, defeats Petey Dunne. There it is, guys. That's your Raw review. The best to do it in the industry, man. The Amplified unit. I appreciate you guys big time. Would have loved to have done a members-only live stream before Raw yesterday, but just too much other business that had to be attended to. I hope to sometime this week do that live stream for my channel members, though, man. Show that utmost appreciation to you guys, all my gold card members, and beyond. So to channel members, just be on the lookout. There's probably going to be a pop-up live stream where I can definitely show that appreciation to you guys, man. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit saying deuces, yeet. Check you guys, man. Salute.